unlimited. Hashtag nothing for nothing.
In a cultural sector based on an expectation of free labour, how can I do nothing for nothing?
Just to be clear, we don't mean volunteering. Volunteering is slightly different to being asked to do stuff for nothing. It's a voluntary agreement to do something that you sign up to do, and you usually gain something from it.
1. This is not your fault and not your issue to solve. The culture of expecting people to do stuff for nothing needs to change, and that change needs to happen within organisations, as they are the ones making those asks. Like all change, this might take time, so here are 10 top tips to help.
2. Understand why you are doing it. We asked why people agree to do stuff for free. 57% wanted to make a link with a venue, person, organisation, etc. 37% felt they should. 36% couldn't get involved if they didn't. Why do you? Do you just hate to say no? Is it part of a strategic plan you have? Knowing why can help you work out what to ask for in exchange, or decide if 30 minutes or so of free work is worth your while.
3. Know your worth. How do you feel when you deliver some work without getting paid for your time? Do you think you're worth it? Do you feel guilty about asking for money? What's your response to asking for exchange if money isn't on the table? Charging people for your time, skills and expertise is not only legitimate, it's how the sector works. If you find yourself bending over backwards to continually please people and get no money or exchange to show for it, you can start to lose your self-respect and the respect of those you work for. You are worth something, and you have skills and experience, including lived experience, which is valuable.
4. Set your rates. What do you charge for what you do? Do you have rates for days or weeks, depending on what you do? Are they based on union-suggested rates? Do you have a sliding scale? And if so, know the criteria you can use for the points on the scale? Where do you share this knowledge? Is it on your website? Sent to prospective clients or partners? How regularly do you put your rates up?
5. Build in rest, access and other costs. When you set your rates, you include thinking time, rest time, travel time, time sorting your access, admin time on sorting your contract or completing paperwork. Do you add a small percentage on to all your work so you can build up a buffer to cover time off for illness, holidays, or dips in work coming through?
6. Set new terms for new projects. A new relationship, a new client, a new project. It's the perfect time to go in with a new expectation around how you value your time. Have the conversation early on about valuing their time as well as your own, and get as much as you can in writing, or record meetings if writing doesn't work for you. And maybe even let them know what your aftercare rate would be to tweak things they want to change once the work has been done. It's the best way to prove that you've been asked to do something new that wasn't in the original specification or conversation. If they say they'd love to work with you, but they just can't pay right now, then you have the choice to say you'd love to work with them too, when they can.
7. Then reset them for existing projects too. It can be much harder to have that conversation with people and organisations where you've done work for nothing in the past. Sometimes there is a real expectation that you'll just keep doing it for nothing. Our survey reported a fear of being seen as a problem or as difficult by asking for money, and the need to protect reputations to keep getting work. Try not to spring it on people at the last moment, but to pass your new rates information with plenty of notice, being clear when your new rates come into effect. Keep it friendly and factual. You can lessen the risk by testing this approach with one client or organisation at a time, learning more about how best to frame the conversation each time.
8. If it can go wrong, it will. Anticipate that. Mistakes will happen, tech will fail, but also people add new things in after a brief has been agreed, or, often conveniently, forget they asked you to do something else instead. You'll need to build in capacity time that allows for some of this, and you'll need a way to log the time you work on a project so you have proof. It can be useful to log things in detail, so rather than noting down Zoom meeting, try Zoom meeting where we scope the design brief or something similar, and take notes or even recordings of meetings as a backup.
9. It can be about exchange. It's not always about cash. Some people work outside of a financial system due to choice or necessity. Think about what else you might want or need that isn't just money. Do you need space, materials, contacts, introductions, mentoring, critiques, invites to see other work? Think about your practice and your ambitions. What might help you more than cash? Especially if cash causes you issues, for example, with benefits where earning over a certain limit can reduce the benefits and potentially lose access to other services. Exchange has to work for you though. It has to be something you want, need, or desire. It has to be just as good as the cash.
10. Know what you need and know what you can give. Do you budget out your year? Do you know what you need to earn and account for holidays, rent increases, new tech, and more? Are you earning enough to save? Whether you can give away your time and skills for free often depends on whether you can afford to. If you are struggling to manage, think carefully about who you want to give your free time to. If it's other people within your community who also have little, then you might want to say yes and set aside a certain number of days to work for free each month. If it's for big organisations who may have many salaried workers and big budgets, you might want to think again and nudge them towards the resources we've produced for organisations to examine and change their practices. Remember point 1, it's not your problem to solve.
Hashtag nothing for nothing, especially if I'm an individual disabled artist, arts worker, freelancer or creative. If you think this is useful, please share. www.weareunlimited.org.uk/nothing for nothing. Unlimited is supported by Paul Hamlin Foundation, Arts Council England, Arts Council of Wales, Creative Scotland, British Council.